Harley, where's she gone? Where's Kenzie? Is she going for a walk without you?
Kenzie's gone for a walk, and obviously Harley can't go. And now he's just sitting like a little lost puppy, doesn't know what to do. Sitting staring at the door. Oh, I felt bad for him. Anyway, what's up? So, my post was 3 weeks ago, and the question was, online coaching, if I was to do a YouTube video on it, what would you guys like to know? You know, I've been coaching for about, I've been coaching online for about maybe 18 months now, almost 2 years. I just wanted to know if people wanted to know, you know, where to start or what to do, and you know, so I got some questions in. First question was from Owen O'Malley, and it was, you know, maybe touch on how you got started doing online coaching. It actually started from, my first client was a lady called Karen Kennedy, and she actually reached out to me via email, and she was kind of like, you know, have you ever done online coaching? You know, I've heard, she said she's heard of online coaching, and did I do it? And I was like, I was kind of like, no, I don't really do it, but I didn't really know how to do it, so it kind of was like, you know, I kind of hazarded a guess at what it was, and I asked her what she was looking for, and it was back and forth with emails and stuff like that. And you know, I sort of designed, I designed her programs with Excel templates and stuff like that. And you know, I started off like really shitty and in nowhere near sort of fashionable style or in any sort of like, you know, professional way, the way I have it sort of locked and loaded now. It was just a mess. It was back and forth emails, it was lost files, it was horrible. But at the same time, you kind of learn and you grow from these types of mistakes. How I got started was somebody asked me would I do it, and it wasn't the case of, you know, me kind of going, oh yeah, I'm just going to start online coaching. It was somebody reached out to me, and then a couple of more people started reaching out to me because I was putting up on my Instagram that I was coaching somebody from, you know, down the country, and then more and more people sort of started asking me about it. And so that's kind of how I got started. What made me want to start doing it? To be honest, at the time, what made me want to start doing it was my schedule was pretty full, and to be honest, I was capped with a wage. I wasn't able to earn any more. I wasn't able to, you know, scale my income, and at the same time, I wasn't able to, you know, get back and see my family, and I was really neglecting my family. I remember at the time, and I was going back, and I remember sitting actually with my Auntie Anne, and she was telling me about, you know, a few bits and pieces that had happened with the family, and I was like, Jesus, when did that happen? Or when did this happen? And when did that happen? And I was like, man, I need to spend more time with my family. So that was a big sort of, you know, it was a big decision, or a big sort of deciding factor for me in terms of online coaching, because my personal training schedule was pretty full at the time, and you know, I wasn't getting back to see my family. I was working weekends. I was doing like a free class on a Sunday and stuff like that, so I wasn't taking any time to see family. I wasn't really taking any time off, and so that was pretty much why I sort of started. Give some pointers on what I would do different if I was in the same position to start again. If I was to start again with online coaching, I wouldn't rush into it. I would genuinely take my time. I would probably do maybe 1 or 2 clients, and then sort of, you know, he's going bad. I would take on like 1 or 2 clients, and then maybe sort of work with them for a little while, and then try to scale up, versus, you know, saying that, you know, oh, I'm completely open for online clients. You know, I've 10 spaces and all this type of stuff. Because then what happens is you'll get overwhelmed, and that's what happened to me. You know, I took on far more than I could actually chew, and it ended up just being so shit. I divided my time, I divided my service. My service wasn't great at the time, and you know, it was definitely something that I really learned from, and it's something that I currently, like, I made a really bad error just before Christmas, and I actually opened up a new 6-week transformation, and I opened it up to 60 people, and it ended up filling up, and you know, I took on way more than I could chew, and I wasn't able to get a grasp of, you know, managing all those people, and it was a very tough thing. So biggest thing I would say is, when you're starting out, don't take on more than you need, just because, you know, you can, and just because of the money. Like, I know the money is a huge incentive to do it, but don't take on more than you can chew just because you can. So this is Matthew McMahon Fitness, and the question is, how would I structure a plan suited for beginners with no hands-on input to teach them technique, etc.? Well, to be honest, I don't really, and this is, I suppose, I don't really get that many, you know, absolute beginners. So I've never really had that issue in terms of, you know, having an absolute beginner. Like the majority of the people who have never been to the gym or who have never, you know, who's a complete beginner, they normally do personal training with me versus online coaching. But one of the things that I do is I structure my consultation form so that it's really, really in depth, and it gives me so much more of an insight into the person. So I get people to answer a pre-questionnaire, so a pre-consultation questionnaire before I even consider taking them on, and that gives me an insight into what their level of fitness is, how long they've been training, their training history. It gives me an insight into, you know, whether they're beginner, intermediate, or advanced, you know, what equipment that they have available to them. Like, you know, have they got a commercial gym, have they got a box gym, do they train CrossFit, do they just have a TRX studio, do they just have like a little personal training studio. So pre-questionnaire, pre-consultation questionnaire to find out what their level's at. But what I would do if I didn't, or if I did have an absolute beginner, what I would do is I would probably give them videos, and I would probably give them like very, very, very basic exercises, probably a lot of bodyweight stuff that they just maybe need one dumbbell or one plate or one band, or I would just structure it all around machines in their gym, because a lot of the machines in gyms have, you know, signs on them saying like, you know, chest press, leg press, you know, lat pull down, whatever. And then you can structure it so basically that you just have them using machines and getting them used to maybe full body workouts at the very start. Next question is from Matthew. How would I adjust a plan each month in relation to their exercise selection, and how do I progress a client within their training program based on percentages and RPEs? To be honest, I judge this, and I would say communicate with your clients. To be honest, a lot of the stuff and a lot of the way that I structure my programs is based on client feedback. Now, I would always structure a lot of my foundational plans around full body workouts. Reason being is that I feel like a lot of people need more bang for the buck when they get into the gym, because a lot of people go in and they, like, you know, they do that bodybuilding split, or they do a push-pull legs, or they do, you know, very sort of basic you know, programming, where I feel a lot of the time people just need to burn some calories. So I would genuinely, foundational first plans that my clients normally get are some full body plans based on what they have available to them in their gym. How I progress that on to the next one is essentially I would look for feedback. So I do a check-in with my clients every week, and I would ask them, how's your training going, how's your plan going, is there any sort of exercises that you're struggling with, is there anything that you feel you need help with, is there something that, you know, you don't have in your gym, do you have a lying leg curl, do you have a seated leg curl, you know. And I would program my clients, and I would get that feedback from them, and it would allow me to adjust their program going forward. So there's no point in me, you know, programming, you know, a leg press, you know, if they don't have a leg press. So I would genuinely base a lot of my programming and exercise selection off what's available to the client, and also client feedback. And again, that's based off my pre-questionnaire or my pre-consultation questionnaire, whereby I get a heap of information off that client. Another question from Grace Tedford. Similar to Matthew's question, how can you program for a beginner who you don't have that in-person coaching opportunity with? Again, pre-consultation questionnaire, absolutely grill that client, whereby you get so much information that you can program them properly. I genuinely believe that it's all down to the pre-consultation questionnaire. Ask them absolutely everything that they need. That, like, you know, like, have they any flexibility issues? Have they any, you know, training issues? Have they had a personal trainer before? What did they do with that personal trainer before? Their training history, how long have they been training? You know, have they any injuries? Like absolutely everything. Just ask them every question that you can possibly think of, and judge it off that. Again, like I said, I don't get a lot of absolute beginners straight off the bat, like that they haven't seen it inside of a gym before. I genuinely get sort of intermediate to advanced people that have been in a gym before and kind of have been in around classes, and, you know, they've been into gyms before and they've had a trainer, or they've been to, you know, group training and stuff like that before. So I don't really get absolute beginners. That's a bit of a cop-out, but I genuinely don't. How do I keep everything running so smoothly? Do I use software to help manage what's going on? Yes, I do use software to help manage what's going on. Sometimes I use my PT Hub, sometimes I use Trainerize. I've moved off and I've licensed my own software now, so I use my own software. I still kind of do use my PT Hub for my challenges because they're quite good. The way it works and the way it sort of puts everybody into like groups and by their age and their, you know, it's pretty good. If you get a chance to use my PT Hub, give it a crack, because it's pretty good for like group challenges and stuff like that. Trainerize was a little bit more in depth in terms of you know, online coaching. It was the first one that I'd heard of, so I pretty much used that one. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but he's snoring his head off. Back to it, how do I keep things running so smoothly? I tend to use a good bit of email automation and software automation. So I try my best to set reminders for people, whether it be in my calendar or sending like automated text messages, automated emails, automated messages via my software to remind clients to do certain things in the week, or to, this is your reminder to check in on a Sunday at 11 o'clock, don't forget to do this, or don't forget to do that, or remember to do this. And I set, automated stuff via my software to be able to do that. And I didn't pick that up. Before I was using software, I was texting everybody, I was emailing people and texting people and trying to get all of that type of stuff, and it was super messy. But when you have it all on a piece of software, it's so much easier and it's so much more manageable. Is there a point where you got too many clients and your attention quality of programming is diluted? Yes, and that was a lesson I learned the hard way. Like I said before, and when I initially started off my online coaching business, it was the first time me and Vivian went to LA, and I opened my online coaching that weekend, and in the space of me leaving Ireland and getting to LA, I think I had like 25 or 30 sign-ups. Like, it was off the charts, and I was like, holy shit, I was like, oh my god, how am I going to manage this, and what am I going to do, and I had all these people messaging me, and I was freaking out when I was away in the States, and it was different time zones, and yeah, 100% I took on way more than I should have at that time, but I learned the hard way, and I don't do that anymore. But yeah, it can happen, and you do see it happening with a lot of coaches, where they take on too much, and their sort of service gets a little bit sort of diluted, and the quality starts to drop. And 100%, my hand on my heart, I've done it before, and I've learned via my own mistakes. Andrea said, again, I'd love to throw something in about what software, platforms, processes do I use. Again, I've just went over that. Sort of, I've used my PT Hub, and I've used Trainerize before. Now I have my own. I've licensed my own software, so I use my own. There's tons of different softwares out there. There's PT Distinct is another one that's apparently very good. PT Reminder is another platform that's apparently pretty good. Again, there's tons of these types of softwares out there now that will help you scale and grow your business. So it's about what suits you, what suits your budget. If you have no budget, if you have a massive budget, it just suits you, or the software out there suits the trainer. Like, there's not one type fits all. It's like a personal trainer. You're not going to find the same one for everybody. So I would genuinely shop around, have a little look, use the free trials. If the companies have free trials, use them and see which one suits you best. Just put like a trial client on one and lash away and see what you think. How do I streamline everything as your online business grows to get your clients signed up, paid up, logged in, and ready to go? Again, I use Stripe, I've used PayPal. I now use, what do I use? Oh, I use a software called SumUp, and that's pretty cool because you can just send text payments, which is awesome. You can just send them for your phone. You also, if you have SumUp, you can get a little sort of card reader. So if you have if you've ever a client who wants to sign up on the day and they have their card, if you have personal training clients or online clients or whatever, and they want to sign up there, and then you can use the little keypad. It's basically Bluetooth to your phone, so you can type in a payment on your phone and it comes up, and it's just like a tiny little card reader. It's a little white square sort of card reader, and I use that. One thing I do is offer either an upfront payment or a monthly payment, and that's pretty much it. That eliminates a lot of that sort of messing around payment structures and, oh, can I pay you this then and that then, and again, like I said, I've learned all of these things the hard way through, you know, messing up and giving and saying, oh yeah, don't worry about it, pay me at the end of the month, and then all of a sudden they disappear, and or you know, oh yeah, do you know what, you can pay me a little bit now, and a little bit, you know, little bits as you go along, and that just, it's heartbreaking doing that. So I've structured my payments, and I've structured my payment schemes now to be a little bit more professional and a little bit more tighter. That, you know, it's a business at the end of the day. You got to make money and you got to run it right. How did I get them signed up? Again, a lot of the times I try my best. I try my best to get a lot of my clients via referrals, because then I know that person's a good person because one of my clients is referring them, if you get me. So I try my best not to, you know, do too much sort of like plugging online or, you know, direct advertising as such. I try my best to soft sell as much as I can. You know, I don't force people onto my plans. I try not to shove it down people's necks as much as I can. You know, if people want coaching, well then, you know, they'll come. How do I get them logged in and ready to go? Well, again, like I said, my software has my pre-consultation questionnaire built in. So when somebody signs up, I send them an email and they get this massive sort of questionnaire that they have to sort of fill out, and then that comes back to me, and then they're on my software. Do you get me? So put it this way, I have to add them to my software. Then my software then sends them the consultation form, and they fill it out and it comes back to me. Again, what systems do I use for my online coaching? What's more efficient? To be honest, they're both. My PT Hub is very good for groups. Trainerize is good for sort of single online coaching. I haven't tried any others, so I don't really know. So I'm biased to those two because I haven't tried any others. I'm not saying they're the best, but I haven't tried any others, so I have no idea. You know, the efficiency of them is brilliant because you can automate a lot of things. Like for instance, like when you add somebody to the system, it sends them if I can remember now with Trainerize, if you add somebody to the system, it sends them, you know, a par queue, like an automated par queue, and it sends them your waiver, and it also can send them a welcome email or a welcome package, and you know, loads of little things, and it can, you know, there's a load of little things that you can set up. You know, when let's say the client does their first workout, you can automate a message to say, you know, well done on your first workout. You know, give them a little message when they've saved their first workout on the system and stuff like that. You can send them a little automated message that says, you know what, well done, you've hit that first workout. You know, congrats, keep it consistent. And you know, you can set little reminders for your clients and all of that type of stuff. You can send them videos, you can send them screenshots, you can send them pictures. You can pretty much do anything that, you know, like WhatsApp does within a conversation, you know, to your client. So that's why I think systems are quite good, because the automation of those types of systems. How do I keep my clients motivated and on track? This is from Lily Stewart. How do I keep my clients motivated and on track when you're not even eye to eye to them? To be honest, this comes a lot from psychology. I said it on my Instagram a couple of days ago, and it was more about the neglecting of like the psychology with personal trainers. Like, you know, I see a lot of trainers now doing nutrition courses and online coaching courses, and they're doing, you know, hypertrophy courses, and they're doing all of this stuff that relates to, you know, getting a client to do a program, or getting a client to do, you know, programming and nutrition and all of the rest of things. But I don't think personal trainers study enough around psychology, social psychology, all of that type of stuff that's going to allow you to tap into the mind of your client and understand what that client is going through, because, you know, you've no idea what that person has going on behind closed doors. You really don't. And if you can't understand that person, you know, it's gonna go tits up. So I really think, you know, studying psychology, studying behavioral analysis is pretty good too, because again, you'll be able to notice your client's behaviors, you'll be able to notice your client's moods and stuff like that with the psychology element of things. And one thing that I thought was very good for me over the last year was getting into studying cognitive behavioral therapy. That's also quite good, because again, that sort of, you know, it helps with understanding your client, getting into your mind of your client, and helping them to grasp what's going on. So yeah, so I suppose studying into psychology and trying to get into your client's head, because if you can't get into your client's head and you can't get your client to do what you want to do, well then it's game over from the get-go. How do you deal with the backlash of them potentially not seeing results because they're clearly not putting in the work? and haven't got that one-to-one check-in with you to install a little bit of fear to actually progress in what they say they want. To be honest with that one of the things that I do is I structure my plans very high priced. I know this may sound a bit crazy, but I price my programs quite high, and for the simple reason is that nobody wants to lose that amount of money. So, you know, if you're you know, cheap and you know your programs are worth nothing, your clients are going to think of that as it's worth nothing, so they're not really going to put in a lot of effort. It's almost your insurance. You know, if people are paying a high premium and they're paying a lot of money for a program, they're going to be vested in that program. They have a little bit of skin in the game, so I make sure that they have skin in the game as well as me, and I make sure that they're also accountable. A lot of the times as well, I try to give my clients the responsibility. You know, at a point in my career, I had clients, you know, calling me, I had a client call me on a Saturday night, and she was out in a restaurant, and I'm in such and such a restaurant, you know, can I read the menu out for you, and will you tell me what to have? I'm like, oh my God, on a Saturday night, you know, somebody ringing you asking you for what meal selection you want or what meal to have in a restaurant when they're out with their family. I'm like, come on, just go and enjoy yourself, you know, enjoy your meal out with your family, don't freak out about this. So I kind of flipped it on them, and I kind of gave my clients the responsibility, and I started putting more and more responsibility on them to do certain things, because at the same time, you know, I found that being a crutch for people isn't good either, because, you know, they'll just lean on you, and it'll, no matter how many times you say, you know, don't worry about it, you had a bit of a slip up, you know, you can keep saying that and keep saying that and keep saying that until you're blue in the face, but then the client ends up with no results, and then all of a sudden you're to blame. Okay, last question is, if I was given any advice to a personal trainer starting out, what advice would I give, you know, for online coaching? The best advice that I would give to personal trainers out there is stay working as a personal trainer for at least a few years, because one of the biggest mistakes that I see now in the industry is a lot of personal trainers going straight into online coaching, yet have never worked with the general public, or the general population of people in their area. You know, so when I worked in, you know, commercial gyms in Dublin, I was seeing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people every week, and I think working with more and more and more people in person will give you so much more of a broader scope on how to deal with people when it comes to online coaching, because it's extremely hard to get that emotion across to people via a message, and if you can't do that in person to somebody, and you can't do it really well to somebody in person, what hope have you got doing it online when you can't see somebody? So one of my biggest tips to coaches out there who are thinking about getting into online coaching is stay in personal training as long as you can. Build up a client base whereby you can, you know, you see a very broad variety of people. You get to speak to a very broad variety of people. You get to coach a broad variety of people, and then start niching off, and then focus your energy on one small niche. Take your time. Don't feel like you have to rush into this industry. Don't feel, you know, obliged to have to be an online coach because it's popular and it's, you know, it's socialized now, or it's all over social media now to be an online coach. Don't feel that. Don't feel like you have to succumb to that pressure. You know, take your time in the industry. Don't feel like things happen overnight. I'm still shitting myself every single day about my career and what step I'm going to take next, or what I'm going to do. Should I open my own facility? Should I, you know, go and try and, you know, bring my business to the States? Should I, you know, try and break into England and do my thing over there? Should I change my business name? Should I, you know, there's a million and one things that I'm absolutely terrified about. But, you know what I mean? So I genuinely wouldn't feel pressured to run into this yet. Because again, you know, it's one of those things whereby you want to go in with the right intentions, you want to go in with the right frame of mind, you want to go in for the right reasons, you want to go into this industry, you know, with the right perspective and the right sort of mind frame that you're ready for it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions that I may have overlooked, or if you are watching this as a personal trainer and you have any questions, please feel free to comment below and let me know your feedback. Again, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative, yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.